Just look at the card decks that I have out here, and today we're going to be reading directly for Nancy. And I do this many times during an investigation when it stalls. I read directly for the person because the energy, and don't forget, that's what we read here, energy and numbers do not lie, can point us to a particular situation, people, places, things, all of that sort of thing. Now, before we get started, we've got to mark the map, right? We got to mark the map. Here's the map, pardon me, that we started with. And by the way, I want to say this. I have never been associated with a community as kind and thoughtful and funny, because sometimes we just need a little, laughter. We need to giggle a little bit because this is heavy. I'm not sleeping because I'm up reading and watching everything that I can. Many of you are doing the same. And I just want to thank you for being here. I'm crossing thresholds I just really could never even imagine. And it's because of you. So, my darlings, this is where we started. I printed this map. I read for the first time for Nancy on the 3rd of February. It's 10 days later. 10 days later, today is the 13th. Here's where she lived, in this area right here. And the pendulum always points down in this area. Not here, but down over in this area. So now let's log this in. Got my big book of bull here. Today is, let's see, we found out things about the sheriff office and the feds, gloves, that sort of thing, and no pressers. All right, so now today is Friday. We may have to get another slice of paper. We just don't know. Today is Friday, the 13th, and no, we don't celebrate. I don't even think of that. Friday the 13th of February, 2026. And at the time of this is 2 p.m. Eastern. Now, I saw Nancy's number address, and you know how I get into the numbers. Her address for her numbers is 5820. That's all I'm going to do. I could go a little further, but I'm just going to go that farther, okay? So here we're going to do this. This is 10. This makes it 15. Now, we come over here, and we can't take the double digits, so we break it down. 1 plus 5 equals 6. I want to tell you something about when I first did this, I got a little chill. Not a little one, a big one. Because the 6s, when you put them in this type of forensic numerology, basically down the bunny trail numerology, I had big chills. And here's the reason why. The number 6 represents the final containment. It marks the moment of control and not the moment that she was taken. The moment of control. The number 6 is also a big number for concealment. So they've got Nancy concealed. They're controlling the situation. It's a divisive force. And that's really what it is. It's a controlling phase. And I got to tell you this. Even when I buy a house, I watch for the numbers. Seriously, I add up the numbers. Now, come on, Zelda, you could go a little far probably. That's really where I am, and I want to thank you. And some of you have asked me, am I in Arizona because of that short that I made? No. I saw somebody else do that, and I thought, you know what, I need to do that. Give us all a little grin. Because, it was the court of public opinion. It was us, the viewers, that helped resolve the Gabby Petito case. Do you remember that? Because we've got questions about sheriff, we got questions about, what's the Fed, but I'm going to say this before we get started with the cards for Nancy. Let me put the keys here. That's really important because we need a key. I'm going to tell you this. You know I have a history in this type of thing. Feds and law enforcement do not go back to locations if they didn't think that someone was involved. How many times have they been back to Annie and Tommaso, Tommaso? How many times? Several. And then yesterday they just put the tent over the front door to get the height, the weight. Come on. And then people are walking right up to the front door into the crime scene. Oh boy, we have a loss of control here. And you see, that's that address, the 5820, the number 6. It's the moment of control, not the moment of taking. And the problem is the sheriff's office is not taking control because it's up to them to keep them off. Why don't they have crime tape up? Okay, enough. Nancy is an Aquarius. Yes, she's got a really little spiffy bikini there. This is her significator card, the star. I always like to put that out when I do a reading or talk about it. I have several decks here. And by the way, if you are interested in the House of Zelda cards or the crime cards, they are on sale for Valentine's Day for a digital download of $14. Run, don't walk, because the sale only lasts for 24 hours. It goes off at midnight on the 14th Eastern Time. So you can download these, you can print them off and put them on whatever cardstock that you want. No rules, because at that point they'll be your cards. We're going to start out today. I want to start with these House of Zelda cards. I may move the keys. And thank you to my sweetheart. And I got a very nice little Valentine's Day present too. And it was a painting of an ancestor, we believe. Maybe we'll talk about that sometime. Anyway, here we are. Now this is for Nancy, Nancy's energy. Welcome, Nancy. Nancy, we're going to see what's going on with you today. You can ask me questions through the cards. I welcome that. If you want to know anything, I'll be glad, and I'm here to tell you. This is unexpected, okay. But I believe what happened to you was definitely unexpected, perhaps by you. All right. I think that's enough. Money, abundance, burning desire. Now, what did you have the burning desire on, Nancy? Yep, there's the bunny trail. All right, I'm going to talk to you about the bunny trail a little bit. I do not believe that her daughter was mentioned in the island files. You know that? Let's be careful. Hazardous material. And you know what I mean. I can't talk about that on this channel. So the main very well-known daughter is not in the files. Social media is reporting that she is not. However, she is associated through a marriage. And that marriage happened to be associated with a very prominent family that is Israeli. And that prominent, that gentleman who was associated with this lady's husband, his wife had an unexpected accident in 2021. 2021 is the 5 year. Add it up, 2215. That is the number before 6. Nancy is a 6. Oh yeah, welcome to the rabbit hole. Why would they, let's think about this for a moment. Who is behind this, Nancy? And why would someone target you? Because you didn't have any cash in the house. You don't have any readily available cash. You're 84 years old. Your health isn't that good, but for an 84-year-old, you're doing pretty good. Can't get around much, but that's okay. But now you don't have medicine. And you've not told us yet about your energy, about your physical body. So why would someone target you? Could it be to hurt someone that perhaps challenged those island files? You know, this daughter is on a clip saying that, you know, a particular political party, and it begins with an L, is demonic. I think any party that has anything to do with the hurting of those women, children, and men that are associated with traffic departments are demonic. I don't care who it is. All right, here we go. And no politics, please. Here we are. That's all I'm going to say, because I wanted to bring this up. Because we got the rabbit, and when the rabbit comes out, got to pull a rabbit out of the hat. Here we go, Nancy. There's money. Money again. Celebration. We had these cards yesterday. Okay. Making a choice. Okay. So it looks like it was unexpected because it was money, burning desire. Remember the cards that they fall on. Now, this king, and look at him. He's looking down at that pentacle on his lap, but he's still in control because he's sitting here ruling things. He's very earthy and very abundant, sitting out, enjoying himself, and he's got these grounding bowls, I'm going to say, all over his throne, plus his little castle is in the background. Oh, what a life he leads. Abundant and growth. And you see in the background, you know, things are continuing to grow. It's a constant growth. But it also means a healing in finances. And this is a card of family. A water sign. Water indicate near a house. Arm in arm, happy, saying hello, celebrating a family celebration. So, Nancy, my question to you is, the Saturday night that you went to celebrate with family and have a game night and eat, was there a problem? Now, this card can get a little sidetracked. But this card also tells us that there was a breaking down, that stable foundation that she expected was breaking down. And not only that, this is really a card back in the 1500s. Here we go again, when I was a young girl and read cards. This card meant the collapse of a particular government or government official or someone that had to do with a government. Because you see, And what did they do during the Great Depression when the stock market crashed? Now, that's an example, but it means the unexpected. So, did she feel a crash? Did you feel a crash, Nancy? Here is another answer. I like this little fellow. A wand, fire element. So this tells me that it wasn't a nice conversation on the way home. This tells me, because she's setting the stage. You see how she's setting it. This was unexpected. Talking about money. And she wants to go down the rabbit hole. That's not me. She wants me to look into things. But what connection is it to family from the rabbit hole? Well, how do you really hurt someone? Because quite frankly, Nancy is not the high level. I mean, let's face it, if this were those people that were below the border there, south of the US, that deals with a lot of things, rugs. Don't say it, please. If they deal with that, they're not going to pick Nancy. They want a high level person. And that ransom is really relatively small, starting out at the 6 million Bitcoin. Pretty small. So this is telling us that she had an intuition. She felt that this was going to happen again, because this is a card of perhaps reoccurrence, and you see there's the intuition and growth around her, and the kitty is the clue, because the curiosity. And here we are with a black cat on February 13th. Good humor there, Nancy. But that little, and be careful of your black cats today, because they're certainly they're the furthest thing from bad luck. So this is telling me that it was very uncomfortable, very intense, okay, so we're setting the foundation. All right, Nancy. Oh no, we had this deck. Who's next? The Kipper. All right, Nancy. So now tell us. Let's see. Tell me where you feel you are. Okay. Bottom. I always get chills when that comes up. Okay. So she still wants to tell me how this unfolded. Great. I'm here for it. In the family room at the house. In the family room at her house, there was a thought of it. You see, someone is thinking. This would be the inquirer, someone who has thoughts of the inquirer. The inquirer is Nancy. She's here in front of me right now with all of us unfolding this. How flippin' interesting is this? I didn't almost say that word. You know that. So she's saying this happened in the family room, and there was some thought behind it and despair. Now, something just popped into my head. But I don't think so. Because I think it's her feeling that she was going to get her ticket to paradise right there in the house. I don't believe that. There would not have been that trail coming out of the house of the red stuff. All right, Nancy. Do you see how readings unfold when you are a forensic profiler? And that's the way I am. Sometimes people get upset because they don't go fast enough. These things take time. It takes time to look through this. There she is. There's another house on top of a house. Woofy. And the dog and the fish. Okay. And a tree. The number 5. Could this be a family tree? I'm going to put this right over here on you, Nancy. So this is her. This is a timing card, and it's a timing card right here for winter. But the way the cards are right now, I need another deck. Give me a second. The way the cards are right now, it is all about a loss equal to the death card. Here is the house, once again, with a king of hearts. Now, the hearts are water signs, but we're not going to, well, water, hello. But in this case, we can't say, well, whose birthday or whose zodiac, because that doesn't always hold true in these cases. But what this means are the hearts are the domestic ones, the family man, the one who's trying to put things together. Someone has a lot to hide here, and someone that knows this will hurt. Okay. The dog, loyal. Now, this isn't necessarily about Nancy's dog, although she brings it up. That could mean that she is with that spirit. Do I believe that animals go to heaven? Absolutely, yes. If you don't believe me, look into the book of Isaiah. It tells you all about it. Anyway, this 10 of hearts is all about change. A change from a home, a move, a change in work, a change. With the number 9, the end before you start over. And then we have the fish, another water reference, and another air sign. Now, what is that air sign? That is someone who's going to communicate. So are we going to get communications again? Yes. Yes, we will. Yes, absolutely. Yes. Maybe before the end of the day. We've been hearing communications from this person who contacted TMZ. They're not being paid attention to. So there is some desperation behind that. What's next? That's my question. So this is all about fish, water. Animals always play an important role in this because a dog can sniff things out. I don't think it's too late to have dogs. Even though it's rained, even though it's trampled on. I've seen a cadaver dog, no kidding, in Virginia, find a woman from the Civil War, and this was back in the 1980s, a woman from the Civil War that was buried in the backyard, and this golden retriever, oh, I wish I could hug her. Of course, she's gone now. 16 feet. She was a boss. 16 feet. She didn't have to look that far, though. This lady wasn't down that far, but she could sniff out a person 16 feet, and that's why they brought her. This is significant. And another dog. No, this is a fox. So somebody thinks they're outsmarting law enforcement. You know what this card says? This is the trust of an acquaintance or family member. The Nine of Hearts is yes, pardon me, my computer just confirmed it. Nine of Hearts, that is the yes card, the wish come true, definitely. And this is a card, when the ship comes in, it's all about riches. It's all about an indication of wealth by inheritance. But it also, for me, means messages are coming through. It's time now. We're going to start seeing something come through. And with this Seven of Diamonds, this is a flame on the hearth. I just heard a voice. I don't know if you heard that or not. I don't have anything on. My son's not working online. The flames, you know, flames can be beneficial. They can actually cleanse. I wanted to hear what that male voice was saying, but I couldn't hear it. Let me know if you've heard it, if you heard it. Now, here's a tower, and we have a tower here. Isn't this amazing how this comes out? And this is a lump sum of money. But let me finish with this. This is a card where it's supposed to neutralize evil. It's a Seven of Diamonds, in which it's supposed to be progress and communication, because diamonds are equal to swords. And remember, the tarot came from the playing card deck. I remember when that happened a few centuries ago. No, I'm just kidding. I hope not. This tower, I don't even want to say it, denotes sickness. And depending upon the cards that are laid out, even death. Give us one more card, Nancy, of this deck. Give us one more card. The Ten of Hearts. We have the Ten of Hearts right here. The fact that they're beside each other. The bouquet. So she recognizes the flowers that they're leaving at her mailbox. That's what that's all about. That's what it says. Because the flowers are for someone that is being honored, and the Ten of Hearts is for that move, the home, the new. Now let's talk about this guy. Another fire element. His robes include green for money, monetary, blue for emotional, but the red cloak means all about love, compassion, power, and even control. Making that decision in which how you want to move forward by grasping onto the fire element that you feel is the best to go. What do I mean, fire element? The path. Was there another pathway? Was there something else? Yes. Did this Saturday night, I mean, we're almost at 2 weeks now. Did this Saturday night celebration of family and get together at the home, in the family room, or in your home and family room, how was that significant? Now, the cartomancy will tell. Let's lay out some more. That is Nancy. Two women. That is Annie. Annie right here, and Savannah right there. Why? Because this is a money card. This is a communication card. And Annie, I'm sorry. I don't know that whole, I could not hardly watch the insensate, did I say that right? No. I could not watch that blinking and hearing that mama, come home. Annie, let me pull you to the side a minute, darling. Now, I know you're probably being told what to say, but mama, come home. If she could, she would. I'm positive. Okay. So Nancy is telling me now this had to be the guy he was the one that did the dirty work. He's not the mind behind this. He did the dirty work. This was the fellow that was involved because there she is. This is because of financial security, financial fulfillment, needing that finance that we had back here with this King of Pentacles. This heart is all about, once again, passion, but past hurt. So it's someone that has a history of hurting, possibly envy or jealousy, bitterness, and resentment. And I got to tell you one thing. Yesterday, if you missed that, go back and check it out. We did the message box. I don't like spirit box, but I call it that because it's familiar. But the message box, talking to energy, talked about rain. And they're having rain all day today in Arizona. My darlings, that is significant. And the reason being is because we are getting close to Nancy being found. I'm just going to say that based on here. Because now that her energy comes out and starts talking to us and telling all of these things, she's ready. She's ready to be found. So it's putting the people in the right place. Now, I can call and give them all this information. Will they do it? No. They've got 4,000 tips and people calling and all these other things. And how many psychics do you think are calling up? Oh, a plethora. And see, I don't do that. I don't step into anybody else's channels and say, I don't do that. Do what you want to. It's fine. Everybody can do what they want to, whatever leads on their heart, but I don't do that. It's available. Whomever's watching, I've already given my information, which I thought was significant. They took it, they acted on it, and I saw it. And that's all you can hope for, because it's all about Nancy. It's not about me. Here we have a card of education. We're back to that. Could that be the involvement of someone? Yes, and yes. But this is a card of isolation. So she's telling us she's alone. There's isolation. She's alone. I'm just going to say this now. Do I feel that she, based on this, do I feel that she lingered after she was taken? And I don't want to take hope away from anyone. But the answer is no, I don't feel she lingered long. I mean, she talked in the spirit box yesterday, the energy, not her soul. I don't call in entities. But you see, there's a fear here. And of course it caused fear for her. She was not in a physical position to defend herself. And even if she could, trying to take on a young man, be hard to fight off. So there was fear immediately out of the gate. And not only that, the spirit box yesterday said stroke. And I'm going to tell you in a minute what I really feel is going on. I need to read for the captors, don't I? But I wanted to read for Nancy first. This Six of Spades is all about a delay. And I feel the delay in finding her. And it's been delayed. It's almost now 2 weeks. So now here's paperwork, here's telephone calls and exams, examining areas, going through things. But my darling, this is also a call of reading very small print and making sure you know what you want to do. And I don't believe it were these captors. I think they took her hoping that she would just agree. And I think something happened, because there's fear there. There's fear. You see, there's money, anger, an officer, and falseness. Now, I'm not saying that an officer, I won't ever do that with law enforcement. I don't believe an officer is involved. But I think that might be Sheriff Nanos, and I'm going to make it very clear, I am not accusing anyone of anything. That's not up to me, because I'm not law enforcement. This is entertainment purposes only. Just so we've got something to pass the time, right? If you know, you know. And there's the dog, the fidelity, the loyalty again, the thief, and the journey. So yeah, they took whomever this was. We have an indication, an idea of who this is. Took Nancy perhaps for a little joyride, and then things started happening. But there's some falseness there. And I hope, and I feel strongly that they're, even though they keep saying, we don't have any leads, of course they're going to say that, of course. And look, more money coming. We're going to hear again. We are going to hear again from, of course we are, but we are going to hear very soon, maybe even later today, from someone, either a letter, either something like that, something. Nancy, how are we going to find you? She's saying tree and water references, and that's really been from the beginning, especially the water. I don't know where that would be. It's raining there. So, very soon they're going to be announcing that they have an abundance of evidence. They're playing this monopoly as far as the psychological game, because the captors are petrified and mortified with fear. Rightfully so. Do I feel sorry for them? No. This is a card, what we're going to hear and see will come out of the blue. It will just, and they may have that already, but it's going to come out of the blue. It is associated with Nancy's home. And there are clues there. Do I believe it's going to be the glove? Well, the 18th of this month is going to be significant. That's 5 days from today. So remember the 18th. This is a card also fire. Why so much fire? Well, fire is that energy that you need in order. It's that get up and go that we need to have a fire in our belly to be able to do things, to open up doors, to initiate growth. But this little guy is looking here toward Nancy. So I believe that he had his sights on her. Perhaps didn't plan, maybe talked about. But this is a card of travel and exploration, and so was the 3 that we had out there. It's holding the world in your hand, so someone who travels and who has an anchor at home, who has an anchor here, who has an anchor at home. This is interesting. This is interesting. Many people say, oh, that's the end. It's an abrupt end. Maybe. perhaps. It depends on what we're talking about. But let's check this out. Several elements in this card. This passion got this person hurt. Hurt by communication. Hurt by their own thoughts. Knowing that you have to end one particular situation in order to start another. And look at the water reference and look at the mountain reference. Dark skies right now, my friends. But know that this is a temporary card. How do we know this? Do you see this yellow band? That's the sun coming up, shedding light on things, dispelling the darkness, and making sure it's not a do-over, but it's a different path. Maybe a start over, starting with the fool and the fool's journey, starting again. Help is coming from the cosmic unknown. It certainly is, because we now are approaching Mercury retrogrades. I think we're in it now, the shadow period. And that shadow period is that where things start, you feel like you have to second guess yourself. You feel like you're walking around with a lampshade on your head. You feel like, what is happening? Where did I put this thing? It's almost this preparation for the hangover. And that's what it feels like. But the one thing I love in investigation and in these cases is a Mercury retrograde, because it will bring what is hidden to the surface. And we're seeing it now in a lot of cases, especially coming out of Massachusetts. So there's a lot of things that are happening here right now. Nancy is telling us she feels that she's gone. She feels she's not here any longer. She's telling us where this happened, family room in the house. She knows it was about money. She knows it was about loss, and she knows who these people are. She also knows that there's a bigger connection because she brought out the little bunny trail card in which she knows people are involved. There's a disappointment here. Extreme disappointment, because she went from one extreme of happiness and having a good time to another. Now this devil card, I'm going to tell you, it has a lot to do with stinking thinking. I'm just going to say it. In this particular card layout, based on the cards, this is a sign also of Capricorn, and his little bat wings, and by the way, this is not really technically the devil, it is a Baphomet, but okay. I'm sure he's not going to mind if we mislabel him, because he still has some really bad things in mind. These wings going off of the frame of the card tells us that he's not going to let go. It'll be done when he says. It's going to take something to really break this. And I believe that it's connected on a much bigger level. Oh, yes, I do. Regardless of who stands in and does the dirty work, I believe that it's connected. Will we ever know? Don't know. A lot of things are coming out now as far as the island case. But a couple of things I want to point out. Yes, they are dressed fully. You see, there's a box that he's crouching on, and there's a chain going around her neck and a chain going around his. Now, this is supposed to represent Adam and Eve in the garden, about how the devil got a hold of them from the beginning. That's why Adam looks to Eve like, you put me down this road. You see, that's why there's fire here. That's why there's trying to be a plant and being grounded here. But this chain is very interesting. It's chained on the box. It's loose around their necks. It's not like they can't get out of it. It's a choice. And what this card really denotes is a focus, an obsession, could be even an addiction to something, a substance, or even an idea. And when getting these swords tells us that, you can be obsessed with a particular person, place, thing, idea, thought. You certainly could, without a doubt. Even, well, I won't even go there, but guess, and you can be addicted to it. This card tells us it gives the invitation we better stop and think, because not only is Nancy in a position where she certainly could not help herself and get out of it, this has been a focus on someone for a little while. And now those people of interest, person, is mortified and is not clueless, but I can also see them no sleep, sitting in a living room somewhere, drinking out of cans, eating nothing, afraid to go out, paranoid, looking out the window, and watching the television consistently. Now, this morning on a live feed, I saw where the cleaners for the pool went in. I don't know. Does that mean that they're destroying evidence? Why on earth would you allow that to happen? Where is the crime scene? There is none. Why? If they're allowing these pool people, sorry, I get very direct about this sort of thing, because if they were standing in front of me, I would be, get off, get out. What are you doing? You're messing with the crime scene. But the other thing that I heard is that they are now checking IP addresses to see who has been Googling and researching. They can do that. Don't need anybody's permission. They can do that, definitely. In fact, they can do that so much, I don't know. They can scrub that, though, and that's what concerns me. Has that been scrubbed? And we know, in this case, who has been married to a person with a company that is a scrubber. Because, that happened with Charlie Kirk. They looked into that, and they saw certain countries were Googling, looking into people, and then all of a sudden, when it was brought to attention, well, it's gone. There's no more. I wonder who did that. I wonder, because this person that was married to this very well-known daughter worked for the Clintocks. You know who they are. Who were associated with the boy on the island. I think that's enough for today. If we hear anything, I'll be back. But yeah, I think I'm going to read on the perps. I'm going to be doing some remote viewing. Don't miss out. But this is Nancy. We're wishing her well. And girl, we'll do what we can to find you. Have a good day, everyone. And I'm going to post whatever I hear. See you soon.